Hey folks, in this video, let's talk about India's auto sector, how it performed in the financial year that just ended. Overall, India's auto sector produced over 30 million units in the financial year 2025, over 3 crore units. I think this is an all time high production. And I think it is 1.5 million units more production compared to the year before. So let's look at the breakdown of this number. Now, India's expanding highway network has reduced logistics cost and is also increasing regional connectivity, which bodes well for overall auto sector but particularly well for commercial vehicles. So we'll start with commercial vehicles. In financial year 2025, all the numbers that you will see on this table, by the way, are for financial year 2025. So, commercial vehicles, just under a million domestic units were produced, which is actually roughly 1% down compared to last year. Exports, though, they surged over 20%. So, combined, over 1 million units of commercial vehicles were produced during the financial year 2025. Moving on to three wheelers, they performed okay. Both domestic sales grew roughly 6%, export 2% roughly, but together, again, three wheelers over 1 million were produced. More importantly, three wheeler production has crossed pre pandemic levels, reaching an all time high. Moving on to four wheelers or PVs, passenger vehicles. I think this segment gets the most media attention. Both domestic and export markets performed well. Domestic market didn't grow that much, but 4.3 million four-wheelers produced domestically is an all-time high. And combined, total PV production passed or crossed 5 million mark. I think this is also an all-time high production. If you look at the market share of vehicle type, UVs, utility vehicles, are dominating the Indian market. Of all the PV sales, 65% share is captured by UVs. Last year, this was around 60%. As far as exports are concerned, stability in African nations and growing demand in Latin America is what's driving the growth here. Maruti Suzuki and Hyundai Motors India are leading the charge. Maruti's off roader Jimny is now being exported to Japan, Mexico, Australia, and South Africa. Fronk's SUV exported to Japan. For Hyundai, i10 and Verna are doing good with exports. Finally, two wheelers. You see these everywhere in any Indian city. This segment performed greatly. Over 9% growth in domestic sales, over 20% growth in exports. Combined two wheeler production almost reached 24 million units mark. As far as exports are concerned, exports are driven like it was the case with PVs, rising demand from African and Latin American nations. And if you look at almost 20 million two wheelers sold domestically, electric two wheelers, their share breached 6% for the first time. And according to the S curve phenomenon, once their share breaches the 10% mark, it does not take long to go from 10% to 80%. So, in total, over 30 million units were produced in India in financial year 2025, over 3 crore units. Roughly 25 million units for domestic consumption, over 5 million units for export demand. India's auto sector is optimistic about financial year 2026 as well on the back of three things. Number one, normal monsoon forecast. Number two, reforms in personal income tax. And number three, back to back rate cuts by the Reserve Bank of India, which lowers the borrowing cost for the consumers. On top of that, roughly or over 5 million units being exported out of India is an indication that India's position as a global automotive hub or global automotive manufacturing hub is solidifying. But I still don't see any Indian PVs being sold in the US. I do see JLR vehicles sold in the United States, and since it is owned by India's Tata Group, I guess I cannot say I don't see Indian cars being sold in the US, but I see Mahindra SUVs being sold in Australia, which is a homegrown Indian brand. That I don't see in the US yet. Indian SUVs can do well here because of the price. In the US, in March 2025, the average price for the new vehicle was over $47,000. Indian SUVs can be priced aggressively here. Even the top end Mahindra SUV is priced below $30,000 in India. With two wheelers, I do see Royal Enfield being available in the US market. They are priced quite aggressively as well. Shotgun 650 for some $7,000, I think, as opposed to $10,000 Nightster from the iconic Harley Davidson. I think in the coming years, Indian automakers will explore Western markets provided Indian government succeeds in signing some form of free trade agreements with key Western nations. I hope you found this analysis interesting. I'll speak with you again next week. Until then, take care.